Welcome to Made in Montgomery. I'm Susan Kennedy. Right over here are hundreds of pounds of coffee beans. That's because I'm at Myoga Coffee in Rockville. And the CEO of the company, Martin Mayorga, is different than your average CEO. He's not in it just to make money. He wants to make a difference in the lives of Latin American farmers.
Business is good. Business is good.
Martin Mayorga spent the first 12 years of his life living in Latin America before coming to the U.S. as a young teenager. His family lived in Miami before coming north to Montgomery County, where he graduated from Churchill High School. After a year at Montgomery College, he went on to study business at Georgetown University. Mayorga told us he was always resourceful as a young boy.
We didn't have much money, so I always found ways to make money, whether it was mowing lawns or shoveling driveways.
So no one in his family was surprised when at the age of 19, he started his own cigar business. What was that like, and what was the cigar business like for a 19-year-old young man?
The most interesting thing to me that it taught me was the concept of marketing and brand building, where you take essentially a bunch of leaves rolled together, you put a nice band on it, put it in a pretty box, and you can sell it for money. And it was just the basic kind of premise of having seen tobacco from an agricultural aspect in Latin America growing up, and then even going back there, and then seeing this kind of very elite, very high-end aspect in the U.S. in that gap, which is really all about branding and quality assurance. It was just a really interesting process for me that I really enjoyed.
After a few years, Mayorga sold that business and started up Mayorga Coffee with his wife, Carrie.
So Carrie and I are here in Peru.
They used her credit card with a $1,000 limit to get the business off the ground.
Yeah, we put a lot of time and energy and sourcing, products and food and ingredients for our family. Those that have like vitality, energy, life in them. There's a lot of love and respect in this area.
Today, the business operates out of its Rockville headquarters, where thousands of pounds of coffee are roasted and bagged on a daily basis. Their passion for helping small Latin American farmers is what drove the business, and today they are living their personal and company purpose.
Being here, talking to the people, looking them in the eye, and getting to know them to the point where you can ask them questions about the reality of their livelihood.
Your business model is really one that focuses on the farmer. Talk a little bit about that importance to you in being a success and running a good business.
I think that element is, there's two aspects to it. Number one, it's sound business because there are suppliers. And I think to be a strong selling company and a strong company that builds a brand around quality, we need to have strong suppliers. So for me, it makes perfect business sense that we want our suppliers to be strong, healthy, economically viable. But for me, it's also a personal aspect in the fact that I saw the disparity and I saw the struggle that a lot of farmers had, and it was a very simple gap that they were missing. It was just access to markets, access to as close to the end consumer as possible. So for me, I feel very privileged to have been given the opportunity to come to this country, to study business, to be able to just start a business, which is not the easiest thing to do in most countries, to just start a business and grow it. We sit down, we're having dinner, we have real conversations, very honest conversations, and sometimes not easy conversations, but it's reality, and that's something that anybody who knows me knows that I believe in. It's just complete, upfront, honest conversation. And when you can have that trust, you can really get to some interesting and good solutions that are good for them and are good for us and ultimately are good for our customers. And so it's really smart business, and it's personally what I believe in and what I feel is part of my purpose in life to actually achieve, which is give them opportunities for access to market, to be able to grow and have options for themselves and their children.
And it's that relationship that prompted Mayorga to go completely organic with its products, a way he says to bring his family more into the business.
The farmers we work with typically live on their farm. So it's us asking our farmers to pollute their own land, to pollute the area where their children play, where when it rains, it runs off to the river where they take their drinking water. So it's really more of a greater responsibility than just ourselves. As a good, conscientious company, we have to understand our impact, not just to our consumers, but also to the people that we work with.
He's committed to improving the quality of life of farmers in Central America. He's so firmly committed to operating his business in a way that minimizes harm to the planet and promotes healthful living. It's just in every way consistent with the values that we're proud of here in Montgomery County, and we're proud of Martin. This is a guy who is just a classic Montgomery County success story. He took enormous risks as a young entrepreneur, and the risks have paid off, and he's built what is now becoming a global business. So, you know, he really just imbues business ethics in everything he does.
Today, the company employs just over 40 people. Much of the work is still manual. Every bag of coffee that comes out of the Rockville facility can be traced back to the farm where the beans were grown. Martin Mayorga says operating that way keeps them engaged with their product and its quality. And business is good. In 2014, the company sold 5 million pounds of coffee, and the company is planning a move sometime this year to a larger facility. Today, his coffee is sold at Costco, Whole Foods, Giant, and other national chains.
We're so focused on good quality coffee that we have to focus on other products. And the reason is because we need our coffee farmers to be strong by having options and opportunities to be financially viable. So a lot of engagement in Latin America, a lot of development. We're almost kind of a quasi-NGO the way we operate and the people that we work with. And private label is a big aspect for us. We have a lot of national clients that see what we're doing. They like the essence of who we are, what we do, and what we stand behind, what we stand for. And they're coming to us and want the same thing in their products. So we're seeing a lot of growth in the private label sector as well.
Martin Mayorga says there are many reasons why he chose Montgomery County for his business headquarters: great employee pool, terrific location, and so many opportunities. And he has a lot of pride for being one of the most successful Latin American business owners in this area.
Our product ultimately represents the countries that we grew up in and that a lot of our staff is from. There's a lot of pride in that, and there's a lot of pride in the fact that it's truly who we are, and we can be ourselves and be proud of that. I mean, that's tremendous for me.
As for the competition, Martin Mayorga brushes the thought of aspiring to that aside. It's not what his business is about.
I don't wake up every morning to be average. I wake up every morning to be the best I can be. And that's all I think about. And what everybody else does, I wish them all the best, but we do our own thing.
When we come back, we'll visit another environmentally conscious county business that specializes in trips to greener pastures. How much time did it take for this idea to catch on?
I mean, in the past 15 years, it's really caught on.
Down here. You illegally passed the stop school bus. I'm placing you in timeout. And this timeout means big fines and possible points on your license. And more importantly, you could have endangered students' lives. That's why, to curb this reckless behavior, school buses are being equipped with video cameras to help kids like me stay safe. So play it smart, play it safe, and respect the bus.
Tucked away in Cabin John, Maryland,
This is Donna at Green Earth Travel. How are you?
is a local business where Donna Zeifinger is an expert at getting her customers off the beaten path. A seasoned world traveler, she founded Green Earth Travel in 1997 with the goal of providing travel options for people who are looking for adventure with an environmentally sensitive approach. It's an idea that's catching on.
I mean, in the past 15 years, it's really caught on. You know, to the point where I had to give up my regular job and take over, you know, my own business. So it's, yeah, I see a big increase in it.
And traveling green is easier than one might think. You don't need to sacrifice creature comforts or go off into the middle of nowhere to be a green traveler. Green Earth Travel lives up to its name by booking trips in green hotels that are sustainable and leave a light carbon footprint on the planet.
We do have a carbon offset that you can purchase on our website. So that will help it make it green as well. And we try and support the green hotels and cruises when possible. Not always possible, but we try our best.
And if you want to travel vegan, look no more. Green Earth Travel specializes in working with chefs around the world to meet specific dietary requirements. Right now, she is in the midst of planning an 8-day vegan trip to Italy.
That is going to be an all-vegan trip to Italy with some vegan celebrity chefs. We'll be going down to the southern part of Italy, and each day we'll tour into the markets or to some sites, and at night we'll be eating and cooking and having fun.
She says vegans like to support vegans, so she has a lot of repeat customers. One woman in particular books 3 trips a year with Green Earth Travel. But Zeifinger says her clientele is diverse. From the 20-year-old college student to the 60-plus retirees, there are no limits to the type of trip she can arrange. Becky Skipper lives just a couple of houses away from the Green Earth Travel headquarters. Donna's own eco-travel experiences have proven valuable to her as she plans trips for her family.
Really started a few years ago. My husband and I really loved traveling. We traveled a lot before the children were born. When they were born, they're twins. We didn't really kind of fit travel into our life for a few years, but we were really interested in getting back into it. And a few years ago, we planned a big trip overseas to see some family that lives in the UK, and it had lots of moving parts, and I found that I was just overwhelmed with all the options we had and kind of how to put it all together. So I came to see Donna.
23rd of June.
And she made it a lot easier for me, which was very, very helpful.
Zeifinger has found her niche in this business, but her services are also being used by regular travelers. And as this phenomenon of conscientious traveling continues to grow, will the business follow suit? And what about staff? You don't have anybody else. Is there the fact that you're continuing to grow and there's this real big interest in this type of a trip, does that make you think that you might have to expand?
I have an intern that helps me with my writing. She does my blogging, and I do have an outside agent that does cruises. But yeah, I thought about it the other day. I was thinking, gosh, if I could have somebody, help with the office, I could do a lot more. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm hoping for that.
Our family adopted Rudy in 2008. It was the largest puppy mill raid in the history of puppy mill raids.
An avid animal lover, Zeifinger once combined her trips with a social issue, something she'd like to get back to in the near future.
Yes, again, for several years, I took groups of people out to Best Friends Animal Sanctuary out in Utah, and it's on a 3,000 acre property, and I had people volunteer there for a couple days, and then for a couple days after that we went camping in the Grand Canyon. So that's the kind of thing I like doing. Donna Zeifinger, I want to thank you for this time. I'm coming from more of a personal perspective. I am in support of this bill.
As a lifetime county resident, she recently got involved with legislation to ban puppy mills in Montgomery County. She testified at a public hearing on the measure.
My dog is Rudy. Rudy came from a puppy mill in West Virginia with over 900 dogs. He inspired me to start a support group called Puppy Mill Rescue Support Group. Every person counts. Everything that you do counts, and it makes a difference. And this is my way of making a difference.
And she's making a difference not only in the way she lives, but also in how she works. 2 businesses right here in Montgomery County that are making a difference. That wraps it up for this edition of Made in Montgomery. For County Cable Montgomery, I'm Susan Kennedy. Thanks for watching.
Can you help me with this? My new dad teaches me all kinds of stuff.
Sure.
He helps me with homework.
That would be 3.6795.
Thanks.
Yep.
He helps me with my decision making.
I wouldn't use this one. Ever.
And he's even teaching me how to drive.
And that's why cars have bumpers.
I'm learning so much.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent.
thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.